My name is Elizabeth Plale, and I am here to talk to you about leadership. As we know, there's some very strong qualities of leaders, things like using their power for their own benefit,
I'm going on vacation, so I need you to do all this.
No!
threats,
Do you have that expense report in?
I'm working on it.
You better have it on my desk tonight or you're fired!
Okay.
dominance,
I'm the boss!
and violence.
This is a Burger King. You don't get things your way.
Perfect. Well, I think that sums everything up, and I'm going to go ahead and turn off the video now. Okay, fine, you got me. I conned my children into doing a video because, why not have them help me with homework? But in all seriousness, leadership is the topic of this video, and I think it's really important to discuss our roles as social workers with regard to leadership within the community, leadership with our clients, and within the profession as a whole. So the first thing that I want to talk about is a little bit about me and what I understand my role to be as a leader. When I'm working with my clients, I am, by virtue of our relationship in a power position with them. One of the things that I work really hard to try and mitigate is that power differential. It's about empowering the people that I'm working with to see that they can affect change in their own life. My job is to help with the big picture. And by helping with the big picture, that means laying out reasonable goals with the help of the client that move them towards that overarching big goal or that big plan, that thing that they want to do. And I find that within school as well, that's something that's really important, being able to take some initiative and reach out to professors and take on a leadership role within my own education. Um, it's the responsibility of the institution to provide me with the information, but it really falls to me to take that information and implement it in my practice and in my own life and moving forward um, as I become a clinician and working in the community. So what this kind of leads into is the importance of being an effective and competent social work leader, practicing those leadership skills. Part of being a social worker is being an advocate, advocating for change. And that comes in many different forms. That can be on a small level with an individual client, working with a client in their life. That can look like advocating for that client to larger systems. That can also look like implementing systemic change and working hard to move the bar forward in a way that is supportive of not just my client but many clients and many populations. So it's really important that I understand my role as a social worker, and that I am a change agent, and that is my responsibility to see areas for improvement within my clients' lives and within society as a whole, and figuring out what I can do to improve upon that, whatever that looks like. Now, the ways that being an effective social worker and being competent can shape how the profession is viewed. It, with a lot of things, it only takes one bad person or one negative experience to lead to sweeping generalizations of social workers as a whole. So if I have to make sure that I'm on my game and that I am doing all the things that I need to be doing in an effective manner so that I can uphold the profession as a whole. Social workers kind of struggle because people don't necessarily know what we do. They don't know all the things that we do. And that's one of the things that makes this really, really difficult, because we do so many things um, that people often don't understand. What does a social worker do? What is your job? And so it's really important that when I'm in the community, when I'm working with people, and even just in my personal life, that I'm conducting myself in a manner that um, would make my profession proud. If I am drinking on the job, or I'm sleeping with my clients, or doing all these things that make us look bad, that can have a really negative impact overall. And one bad experience can really shape the way people view us. On the flip side, if I am really effective and I'm doing well, and I am competent, and I stick to the core values and really adhere to the code of ethics that is so ingrained in us, then I can put our best foot forward as a professional. And what that allows is for a lot of opportunity to make change, because people will take me seriously. People will listen to what I have to say because I'm a respected professional in a respected profession. And that can have huge impacts for our clients, because if we can advocate and make change, and we can move forward in a way that is helpful to our clients and helpful to um, populations that are at risk, then I've done my job. So some of the concepts that we've gone over throughout this semester that have been really helpful for me. The mood elevator was really interesting. I currently work in a domestic violence shelter, and I will admit that I hit a bit of a period of burnout, I think, and I really had to address that. And when we started working with the mood elevator, and sort of understanding that where we're at on that, and how that can color our interactions with clients and with other people, and really taking stock of where am I at on this, and how can I implement some things to move myself in a better direction so that I can be more effective. It was really interesting. And so it's something that I kind of have really employed in my day-to-day work. Like, how am I doing? How is my stress level with school? How am I managing all of these things? And then having a willingness to engage in activities that are going to help me be better, be more effective. Being willing to talk to my supervisor when I'm struggling or when I'm having a moment. Um, so that was something that was really, really helpful for me. The other thing that I thought was really interesting were the behavioral styles, when we sort of talked about how people work in groups, and what are our different styles, what are our strengths, what are our weaknesses, and then some tools to help navigate working with other personalities that maybe are a little bit different than ours. Um, for me, I really am like a hype person. I like to have a lot of fun, and I'm a lot of energy. I'm very much a big picture person, and I really do struggle with the details and some of the follow through. So for me, understanding that that is my weakness and allowing myself some space to work on that. But the other thing that was really useful, that I've actually been able to kind of work out within my own workplace right now, are different people's styles, and understanding their strengths and their weaknesses, how my personality works with those, and having a willingness to engage in that process with them in a way that will work better moving forward. So somebody who's very analytical and very data driven, trying to really reach into my toolbox to work with them in a manner that helps everything be really, really cohesive. So I thought that was a really interesting part of the semester that I didn't know I was going to get a ton out of, and I really did. The next thing that I want to discuss is the 5 components of emotional intelligence that relate to the article that we read in this most recent section. For me, it was really interesting because I thought going into it, I sort of knew which one I was going to struggle with. But after reading the article and really thinking about it, I think the social skill, which seems odd considering um, I'm like a big ideas person and lots of energy and things like that. But the article sort of talked about being able to do that small talk thing with people and just like chatting with them and really working on building a network and things like that. And that's something that I have really struggled with. I I tend to want to just like have deep conversations, and I don't know if that's the social worker in me, or just like who I am. Um, but for me, having surface conversations and making small talk is something I really struggle with. But I see that that's a really good way to network, to find common ground, to sort of work your way into those more serious conversations. I have a really small circle of friends and people that I keep really close. I don't have a ton of acquaintances. Um, but I think that's something that I need to work on, particularly if I want to advocate in a meaningful way for my clients moving forward. So that's something that I really want to work on and consider moving forward. So the last pieces of this video sort of deal with um, the exposure to leadership within the MSW program um, in any areas that I think maybe could be improved upon or expanded. I I love that I got a chance to sort of challenge myself and look inward a little bit on some of my leadership styles. I think for me, there was like a video about those small moments and those small things that we do in our life to be leaders. And I think for me, that was really empowering and really interesting. So I think it really is important that as social workers who are going to be working with clients, either on a micro or macro level, that it's important that we have a sense of leadership and an ability to have a vision for what needs to be changed, and then to also have the inner strength to follow through with making those changes happen and seeing them through. So I think it's really important that we have exposure to these topics. As far as any critiques or like additional content, I'm gonna be honest, I feel pretty good about what I've learned. This was a condensed course. It felt like everything went really fast, and it would be nice to maybe have more time and more opportunities to put some of this stuff into practice. But overall, I feel really great about what I've been taught and what I've been given the opportunity to learn. So thank you for taking the time to listen to me, and I hope you have a great day.